Well, hello everybody, and welcome to the show today. Glad to have you here. Today, Night Owls on Creeps. We're actually going to be talking about a lot more fun and lighthearted stuff, but there are a bunch of news that we're gonna, I say, for the very end. I don't know that we can avoid. Anyway, let's come over here and say hello to our panelists today. We got Eric. How you doing, Eric?
I'm doing just wonderful.
That's good, man. That's good to hear. Sounds like you had a very peaceful, uneventful weekend.
Yeah, pretty peaceful. I went over to the local comic shop for free comic book day. I didn't pick up anything for myself, but took the granddaughter and she got some comics and some Pokemon cards and stuff. I downloaded Blender over the weekend, tried to learn some 3D modeling. It's going to take some time. It's kind of a big learning curve on there for me.
Yeah, no, I downloaded that and have been trying to learn it too. About I don't know, a year or so ago. I every now and then dabble with it. I'm not very good at it, but I do love the idea that modern. Well, it's not actual programming, let's be honest, but these engines that they have are so user friendly that even someone
Oh,
like
yeah.
me can do it, right? You have Blender and you get a couple other softwares, and you can make your own game, right? You can use
hmm
Unreal, or you can use the what's the other one called? The Unity. Unity. Yeah, it's pretty neat. I've actually made a couple little walking animations and things, and you can get skins. There's actually entire websites dedicated to selling skins. Did you know that?
Did not know that.
Yeah.
That's almost creepy.
Well, no. Well, for someone like
Oh,
me,
not
it's
human
essential.
skins. Oh, okay.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Well, someone like me, it's essential, right? Because I can't draw at all. But it is pretty neat. If I had the time to just put 2 years into it and just master it, it would be cool. I'd make stuff, stupid stuff, like the burrs of Mars or something like that. That would be fun. Yeah,
I've been
hobbits
watching
on
a lot of
hobbits
tutorial
on Mars.
videos on how to do it and all that, and it seems really cool. So I can get going a little bit. But with 3D printers becoming so cheap recently,
Oh yeah, that's
I
another thing.
I would like to create some of my characters as like little busts or mini figures and include them with future campaigns and stuff. That's my goal there.
Oh, that's a great. I didn't even think of that. You could do that too. I was thinking about applying it into Unity, right? But yeah, no, that's a great idea, dude. You should definitely do that. That's cool. But you ever done any of those kind of things, Thundero? Man of
Nope,
mystery?
negative. What I have done is help to create and maintain. It's on my old hard drive on my other computer my wife uses now.
Uh-huh.
A nice little archive of 3D printed, what are they called? I guess formulas for
Schematics,
firearms,
yeah.
so that you can quite
Oh,
literally schematic. Yeah, that's the word I was looking for. You can quite literally print them. You could everything. Last I knew, you could do everything except for the springs, right, for the
Mm.
magazines and things, because it just doesn't create good tension in the metal. But they may have now ones that can. I'm sure they do have ones that can do springs in pretty much anything.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's good to have. This is why it's silly to me. This is kind of off topic, but it's silly to me that the government thinks they can control firearms. You've been out technologied a long time ago.
That
It's
is
just not
true,
going to
dude.
happen.
That is true. That is very true. But yeah, no, 3D printing, I haven't got into it, but it is the coolest thing ever. It is
Yeah.
very, very neat. And you can do all kind of metals now, and they actually have like in essence the reverse of it with like seeing three, four. I think they're 4D. CNC machines that can literally create 3D objects out of wood or metal or whatever. It's the opposite. It's not building up and creating something you're taking away, of course, but still, it's outrageously amazing. I watch this guy, and he makes a living by using a like I think it's called a 4D. It literally moves in space, and he just puts a block of wood. He has his program, CAD, I guess, or I don't know what he's using some kind of program similar to Blender, I guess, in a way. Maybe it is Blender. I don't know. But he creates his object, little gnomes or eagles or whatever it is he's making. And it's just this beautiful thing. He just goes in and sands it. He puts a stain on it. Boom, done, sold. Right? It's pretty cool, dude. For access. Thanks, Jeff. I knew it was for something. Yeah, but it's pretty. It literally moves in space. This object, and it has all these different drill bits, and it's really cool. I love the stuff they're doing now. It sounds like Jeff is into that kind of stuff. Leisure Suit Chester. Well, Chester never had those problems that Larry had, to be honest with you.
Could you imagine a suit? I can't even say it either. Leisure Suit Larry game right now. Woo!
Oh,
Boy, would heads explode.
I put money toward it. No, I would. It feels like it's something that's needed in this modern day, just to kind of knock some sense into these people. Thank you very much, Jeff. I love the support, I guess. All right. Did you guys ever play Leisure Suit Larry?
Yes, and it's
I don't
hilarious.
think I knew of it, but I never played it.
I played one of them. I don't know which one. I know there are several.
Yeah, I don't remember which one it was either, but
Yeah,
it was funny.
it's funny. It is funny. You might want to try it. I don't play it around the kids because it does have the
No.
occasional bit of nudity, but it's not a porn game. A lot of people kind of treat it like it is. I guess it does have some nudity in it, but that's not the point. It's just outrageously stupid, dude. It's
Yeah.
funny. Yeah, it's very, very funny. Adult humor. The one I played was on a college campus. Freaking unbelievable, dude. It's lewd and disrespectful. It's like imagine John Belushi from the original Saturday Night Live crew. That's what it is. Put him in a leisure suit. There you go. You're done.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't
See, we
remember
used
which one.
to in society that isn't Japan. We used to be allowed to have fun with the idea of a lecherous man,
Yeah,
or one who really, really wants to
he
be.
wants to be.
Uh,
Yeah, that's the.
yeah.
Yeah, he
You
wants.
can't even get near that now without making him into some sort of super villain pervert. Otherwise, they just won't. It wouldn't get made unless it was completely independent. Like Hollywood isn't going to make that, and nobody in TV or anything is going to make it. So if you wouldn't be able to get it published, probably even like in a book, besides self-publishing.
Yeah, no. And the funny thing is, if you look at a lot of the things that these so-called SJWs are doing, it's far more decadent and deviant than Leisure Suit Larry. I mean, way
Yeah,
more. The stuff they're doing is truly disgusting. Where Leisure Suit Larry is tongue in cheek, right?
yeah,
It's far more innuendo than anything. But it's just this dirty, creepy guy who can't get a girl that's desperate to get it, and the comedy ensues. That's
yeah.
it. But yeah, these days they're quite depraved. Now we're going to talk about that a little bit today.
Oh,
Depravity.
joy, my
Yeah,
favorite.
a little bit. Toward the end, I'm going to have some fun first, and then we'll get into it. We'll decide what we're going to talk about because there's like an arm's length of freaking depravity going on, and yeah, I don't know what it is, and it seems to be coming out of the same camp. Eric, what's up with that?
Oh, perverts, sick, twisted perverts.
Yeah, can't they? They just get a girl, settle down, make a family, be normal. Don't let your brain get all twisted. I don't know. Anyway, let's move on and let's get into our stuff today. You guys ready? I'm ready. I'm definitely ready.
Oh yeah.
Here we go. Let's share my screen and let's get into it. All righty. Let's come over here, do that. All righty. All right, so boom,
Loading.
here we go. Now, I thought today I would start off with Board Game Geek. Now, Board Game Geek here is kind of the quintessential site if you want to be into the board gaming hobby. And there are others. Of course, if you want to look on YouTube, there are a ton of stuff. The Dice Tower, where Tom Vassell is probably the king of the heap on that. Tom's a nice guy. He's married, got a bunch of kids, Christian fella. He's been doing board game reviews for, geez, I don't know, since the beginning of YouTube. and he's got tons of reviews on any board game you can imagine. And one thing is good about Tom is he's become a quintessential part of the board gaming world. Sure, good for him. But what he's also done is he's brought a lot of people into the board gaming community. Beyond just buying a board game and playing it at home, he supports a lot of people to show their reviews and their opinions on his channel. He's done a really good job. I've been a supporter of Tom Vassell for a long time. He's a nice guy, and he desperately loves board games, and that's cool. And Of course, that's Tom Vassell if you're looking on YouTube, and he'll lead you to any other thing you might be interested in. Board Game Geek, of course, is the online thing. The guy who created this, they go to all the conventions, they cover all this stuff. He's a big, huge, tall, Viking-looking fella. Very nice. They're a bit kind of light in the loafers, I think. They're very progressive people, but that's all right. They're not as noisy as we see in other industries, but they're a bit soft for my take. But then again, you're dealing with family entertainment, so why not, right? But Board Game Geek is certainly a center. You can find any information you on any board game you want right here. And Just to kind of demonstrate that, if you look over here on the side, they have the hotness. Now, the hotness is basically what people are talking about and what people are playing right now. And this is interesting to me because for literally over a decade, the top 5 or 6 of this list didn't really change. They might have moved the spot or two, but they were kind of locked in. People's favorite games. However, this list is completely different. I don't recognize anything in it. Descent, of course, is a very famous game. It's come up quite a bit. Let's see what else we got here. Yeah, no, Terraforming Mars, of course, was a big hit. Gloomhaven, of course, but the list has changed. And the thing is, with board games, like I said before, thousands of new board games come out every year. Yes, that's what I said, thousands. It's kind of crazy. Eric, how many board games you got in your house, counting card games as well?
Ooh,
Tabletop games, I guess.
75?
75? Oh, you got a lot. Okay.
With about 15 of them being Axis and Allies, but yeah.
Oh, no, Axis and Allies is awesome, dude. I played a lot of Axis and Allies. That's a great game.
Axis and Allies, I got most. I have almost all the versions of that. I have Tan and several of the expansions for that. You got your different Monopoly stuff and all the regular little stuff.
I don't own a Monopoly, do I? I don't think so. Yeah, no, I wouldn't be such an asshole to own a Monopoly.
Not even because you don't like it.
No, I'm sure I got a Monopoly around here somewhere. But that's kind of the joke inside the board gaming community is F Monopoly, right? Because it is a fun game. I enjoy it, but you have to have a certain mindset to enjoy Monopoly. But the thing is, from our point of view, there are so many better board games out there. There's so many.
Oh yeah, tons of stuff.
There's tons of stuff. But anyway, of course I have a Monopoly. I got a Sorry. I got a. I prefer Parcheesi over Sorry, to be honest with you. But the kids like Sorry. Yeah. What about you, Thunder? How many board games you got in your house? Tabletop stuff.
I used to have a whole lot of them before before I got married. Mm-hmm. And my ex, let's just say they got ruined, most of them. But I still have some of them. I have one from England.
Ooh.
That was called Outrage. And basically the objective was to find the person who stole the crown jewels.
Oh, neat.
And that's about all I remember of it, because I got it when I was like 12. I had that for years. I think I still have it somewhere. I don't know where, though. And I have an old, probably from like the 70s version of Risk, because I love Risk. It's one of my favorite games, period. And let's see. I think I have a couple other ones, too, but those are the 2 main ones I had. But I used to have pretty much every kind of, like, common strategy game there was. So I had like Stratego, I had
I got that.
Monopoly, I had pick one. I had checkers and chess. I had really nice chessboards. One was like actual wooden and like carved out of like cherry wood and all this. That's all gone, unfortunately. But I really used to love chess. I haven't played it in a few years, but I used to especially in high school, I used to play the shit out of it. The only person in my high school who could beat me was the principal. Everybody else I could.
Yeah, no, I was actually, get this, you got to be shocked. I was on the chess team.
I am stunned.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
We didn't have one. I went to a really small school, but what we would do is just like in study hall or whatever, we just play chess.
Yeah. No, we had a club. I was pretty lucky. But the school I went to was the front half of it was like refurbished, and then they built an gigantic extension, and I was like the first class into that. So, in both places, the when I was because my dad moved around a lot, right? So down in the south, when I went to Theodore High School, that was a brand new high school when I went there, and that had chess club as well. And then South Kingston up in Rhode Island. But so I was lucky. I was lucky. Did you have chess club in your school, Eric?
Oh, we did not, but I did play all the time. Then my uncle taught me how to play because I stayed over at my grandmother's, and he had long since moved out, but left a lot of his old board games there. So me and my brother trying to play it, and we didn't even know how to set it up originally. We were trying to set up like checker pieces, and that doesn't work. No, he taught me how to play. Yeah, he taught me how to play. I've had a love for it ever since. But two other games he had in there were from the '60s. One was called Dogfight, and one was called Civil War. They were pretty fun to play too. We found some of those later on at a bridge sale there. Really old Parker Brother games.
Yeah. No, well, the history of board games is rich and interesting, and I played a chess a few times since. Someone tried to teach me shogi, and I got over here in Japan. I got the idea, and I like won the first 3 matches that we played. The person was like, "What's going on?" Of course, it's basically exactly chess. It's just a Japanese version. But yeah, no, I haven't played chess. You know what got me out of chess? Axis and Allies. No, seriously, that's way better, dude. I mean, chess is fun.
It's intense,
actually.
Yeah. But anyway, let's take a look at this page I got set up here. Now, this is just the front page. I'm just kind of showing off Board Game Geek, really, and I'd like you guys to check it out. Maybe kind of get your interest in board games up a little bit. But this is a Bruno Ferruti game. Bruno Ferruti is a great creator in the board gaming world. He creates all kind of very interesting things. I'm not the biggest fan of this cover, but I do love the card art. Look at that. That's gorgeous. I don't know what the game does. I have no clue. But I could find out if I looked into this article. But because it's from Bruno, I guarantee you the thing works like smooth as butter. I guarantee it. Because that's the thing. There's a lot of mechanics that go into board games, of course, any kind of game. But how smooth does the mechanic go? How interesting does it? How much does it keep your interest? And Bruno's really good at that. Of course, Arcane World has got a new game here, Mobile Markets. That's one thing board games have been doing more of the past decade or so, trying to capture modern culture. Sometimes it's successful, sometimes it's not.
See, I think that's a bad plan. I think one of the key ways to capture modern culture is to not capture it. And what I mean by that is don't chase it. Just let your game that you make become the modern culture. Yeah, that's one of the reasons why Monopoly has existed for so long and everybody knows it and everybody's played it, because it's timeless. There's nothing really in it that requires it to exist under certain parameters. And
that's fair.
That is something I think, and not just in games, I think just in anything. Like they do this a lot in novels and stuff now too. They talk all about, social media and blah, 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 blah. That stuff can all be gone in 20 years, guys. Like social media is young. It could be just a massive generational fad that goes away. There was a time when everybody talked to each other they had to hold their phone in their hand while it was connected to a wall for 100 years. That's how we did it.
Yeah.
Nobody does that now because it went away. Because that mode of doing it went away. Most people don't even like talking on their phone. They text. They don't want to talk. They just text you.
That's true. And there are...
I'm just saying, I think when you do that without good purpose, like it's a specific story or whatever that you're trying to tell, you lose future profits, basically future. What's the word I'm looking for? Not credibility, but like penetration into the zeitgeist of the culture in the future.
Right.
Monopoly is a great example. Risk is a great example. These are games that have lasted forever because there's nothing really to them. They're very simple.
They are.
There's
Yeah.
no cultural, you know, stuff really in them except for
They're timeless.
yeah,
Yeah,
they're timeless.
that's a
Like
good point.
Monopoly
Timelessness is
has
important. Yeah.
districts and stuff.
Yeah.
So I think this is something that I wish less people would try to do, just because I think it almost, like you said, it pretty much doesn't work usually. It always comes off as like they're trying too hard,
A cash grab.
and it's
Yeah.
often just to cover up a bad system. Right, the system of the game isn't necessarily strong, so they use this as like a veneer to try
Yeah.
and hide it.
Well, I'm fair with that. And there's a lot of people in the world right now who are working on wetware stuff. And
Yep.
I mean, for all we know, the future could be Johnny Mnemonic. I mean, it could be, right?
Yes.
But so fair point. But this is definitely doing exactly that. This is kind of tying in. This probably won't be very timeless. Fair enough. This is from Arcane Wonders, however, and those guys don't play. They do play, but they don't play. So it's probably a fairly fair playing game. But you also have to understand the world, the community of board games, and there are millions of people that are involved in this community. It's not as big as a video game community, but it is worldwide large, particularly in Europe. It's board games are far more common in Europe than they are here in America. I know that doesn't make any sense because we're Americans and we play board games, but Europeans are very serious board gamers. And a lot of times, what's happened in the modern, using the word zeitgeist of board gaming world, is the board games have been these kind of collectible, seasonal things. You buy it, you play it a little while, it goes into the cupboard, and unless it really caught your interest, it's going to stay there. Right. That's board games have changed. It used to be like we talk about Monopoly, Risk, things like that. Sorry. And you go to on with my family and a lot of families on Wednesday. You go to whoever's turn it is, goes to the closet and takes the board game they want to play, and you play the game on Wednesday night. And that's that you have your set amount of board games, and it didn't change much. These days, it's very different. You'll have games that come out and be very popular for a month or two, and then they never get talked about again. It's kind of like
Yeah.
this. It's a disposable type of market now, which doesn't make sense for board games, but it is. Anyway, good point. Very good point. But like I said, it is Arcane Wonder, so this game probably plays well. What's got? Floor plan. Let's see. What is this? A vaccine thing. Once again, this is a Winchester. I don't know. That doesn't look interesting. Earthborn Rangers. Ooh, is this Stegmeyer? I think this is Stegmeyer. Oh, I have to come back and check this out. Yeah, I think this looks like Stegmaier. Oh yeah, it definitely is. Oh, okay, okay. Yeah, yeah. I need that game in my collection because I have all the others. Anyway, moving on. Rome Total War board game version. Ooh, how are you gonna
Ooh.
pull that off? That might be interesting. This is from PSC, which is a British company. It's interesting. Green Hell. Eh. Might be interesting, but I think the point I'm trying to make is you can do all kind of thing. Queen Rat. Now that's interesting. This was actually a fairly popular book that kind of plays on a lot of the SJW stuff, but the comic book. This is a board game version. The comic book was well written, I guess, and people really enjoyed it, even though it's a very SJW thing. And it kind of did what we keep saying they should do. You could tell any story you want to tell, just, tell the story, right? And it seems like the Rat Queens had got that done. So that's cool. Um, Corrosion, Public Market. Ooh, that looks nice. A little a Mediterranean trading game, or maybe this is up in Alaska, Maine. No, Alaska. It looks like. Anyway, I think what you're seeing is there's the good thing about board games is they will lean into any market, any kind of idea, any kind of thing, and that's neat. We have As you see here, this board is dynamic. It becomes three-dimensional. I like those. You guys ever play a board game that you kind of build the board as you go? No?
So
I'm
Those are
just trying to
neat.
think.
that's
Yeah,
what I
that
was
is
trying to
pretty
think
cool.
too.
Yeah, one of the best ones for that. The one I'm just looking at. It does look interesting. This is Bengaluru. Sounds Indian. This style is fun, but the best one I've ever seen as far as three-dimensional building board game is Santorini. Santorini is gorgeous. If you can afford to buy it, it's a bit pricey, but that thing, the pieces are absolutely beautifully made. They're high quality, and you put that on the table and play that game. You're literally building up houses, and it's kind of like almost like a Jenga, not Jenga, Tetris-esque in a way. But that's a gorgeous game, man. Yeah, Mousetrap, another good example. Flying Saucer, that's right. Yeah. But anyway, I don't want to take too much more time here. I just kind of like talking about board games, and I just want to keep showing them to you. And keep in mind that a lot of board games are really European style. They're kind of pick up and drop off, or resource collection, or worker placement, or those kind of things, and they might seem very dry. But the interesting thing about a lot of board games is, especially if you're playing with the kids, there's always something to learn in there, right? Whether it be about culture or history or something like that, there is educational aspects of it, the game as well, which is pretty neat. Anyway, I'm going to move on. But
Moving on.
please,
Marrakesh. I'd like to go to Marrakesh.
Marrakesh, yeah, no, this is Queen's Game, another giant company, and Queen's puts out a lot of they're a European company, and they put out European stuff. I have a lot of good Queen's Game. So, anyway, moving on here. Now, go ahead.
Oh boy. Netflix's Avatar, The Last Airbender showrunner Albert Kim says show will be authentic in contrast to original creators' statements. All right, well, let's see. Who are we going to believe? The person who made one of, if not the greatest animes of all time, or somebody who works with Netflix?
Yeah.
Who is the people gonna fall behind? I wonder.
Okay. Now, fair enough. Now, here's the thing, guys. A lot of times I just kind of take the headline and conversation go, right? That's what we do here
Yeah.
a lot, and that's fine because it'll take us. Who knows where the direction will take us? And a lot of times I don't even care what the article has to say. I'm more interested in what kind of conversation it creates. However, I'm going to read this article to you, and because I want to
Boy.
demonstrate the brain cancer that is Hollywood. Okay.
Yeah.
No, seriously, look at the statement, right? And here we go. Albert Kim. Hi, Albert. The showrunner
Hey,
of the
Al.
upcoming live-action Avatar,
Ugh.
recently penned an article detailing why he decided to adapt the show to live action and promised that the show will be authentic to the original animated series. Okay, that's an opening, right?
What is,
So,
wait, Weasel word. Weasel word number one. What's authentic mean?
yep. No, it grows. It grows. The cancer gets bigger. Yeah. So fair enough. Good point. But he's stating here it will be authentic. Okay. All righty. Sharing his thoughts, Kim detailed that he didn't feel like he had anything to add to the Avatar with a live action remake. He explained, Netflix gave me the opportunity to develop live action. My first thought was, why? What is there I could do or say with a story that wasn't done or said in the original? Okay, that should be the end of the conversation. Let's wrap it up and
Yes.
go home, guys.
All right, let's do something else. What else we got?
Yeah, what else we
Simple.
got, right?
Done.
Done, right? He even continues with proper logic. He says, "What is there I could say with a story that hasn't been done with the original? It's grown in popularity and acclaim over the last decade and a half, which is a testament to how complete and resonating a narrative experience it has been. So if it ain't broke, why fix it?
Yeah.
Why are we?
Yeah.
Why isn't the article over?
Yeah, that should
Right.
be it. If you're going to do anything, I think what the fans of the series would like is a digital remaster of the original.
Sure.
Right? Make it prettier. That's it. That's all we want you to do. Don't change nothing. Just make it prettier, and then leave it alone,
Yeah.
and just leave it alone.
Well, here's the thing, Eric. He starts out with a really good, proper, correct statement. These are all good things that he said here.
Yes, yes, they are. But we've heard these before from another creator
Many.
who,
Yeah.
especially recently, who destroyed a cartoon that a lot of people didn't like.
It
Oh, yeah,
sounds
yeah,
very familiar.
Very familiar. Yeah.
Mm. Yeah, a certain Smith. I don't know why he thought he'd get away with that. Anyway, let's get into this idiocy here. Now, however, he is indeed doing a live action adaptation. Okay, but then here we go. Here's the but. It literally he says but. But the more I thought about it, the more intrigued I became. Ooh. Special effects technology has advanced to the point where a live action version can not only faithfully translate what has been done in animation, it also can bring a rich new visual dimension to a fantastic world. Okay, okay. We'll be able to see bending in a real and visceral way we've never seen before. Okay, fair enough. Sounds good. Then he then asserted that Netflix meant we had the opportunity to reimagine.
Uh-oh.
There's that word.
There it is.
Yeah. A story that had originally been told in self contained half hour episodes as an ongoing serialized narrative. Well, that could be useful, but the reimagine's bothering me, dude.
So if you keep reading there, he says that meant story points and emotional arcs we'd loved in the original could be given more room to breathe, wait for it, and grow.
Yes.
Hold up, Mr. Kim. Didn't you just say there was nothing you could add?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So in other words, we're going to use one of their favorite little buzzwords. He's going to contextualize it.
Oh, yeah.
Which means he's going to contradict the entire spirit of the original and add a whole bunch of nonsense that has no business being there.
He gets there. He gets there. I think what we're seeing is either his brain evolving or his bullshit. I'm going to go with bullshit, Eric. I think.
It sounds like bullshit.
Yeah, it does. Finally, a live action version would establish a new benchmark in representation and bring in a whole new generation of fans.
So what I'm getting from that is they're gonna make the Fire Nation guy white. He'll be white now. He'll be a bad guy, and he'll be lily white. Look like he walked right out of Sweden.
Maybe.
We're gonna get a whole lot of mixed race, interracial stuff. Just all kinds of it. Gonna every couple you see is gonna be some form of mixed race. We're gonna probably even potentially see some gayness and some LGBTQXI.
Yeah. Matter of fact, he's going to get into that. No, that's fair. They will, yeah. But here's the thing: keep in mind, if you guys who don't know, if you don't, go check it out because it's probably one of the best animations ever created. But it's completely Asian story. There are only Asians in the story. There are no non-Asians in the story. It is an Asian story.
Yeah, exactly.
It's full of gay Asians?
No.
It's an Asian story that pretty much everybody loved.
Yeah.
Like, it didn't matter age, it didn't matter where you were from, your race, whatever. It's a fantastic. It's literally one of the best animes ever made. I'm not being hyperbolic. I don't think
it's great.
That's ridiculous statement. It's fantastically done from beginning to end, and nobody gave a shit that it was set in a fictional Asia. Nobody cared because it was awesome.
No. It continues though, guys. So representation and bringing a whole new generation of fans. Well, you already stated that the new generation is already fans. You've already told us this, and we know that they are. Young kids watch the old original show too. There are no new generation of fans to make. You know this because you already said it, Mr. Kim. All right. This was a chance to showcase Asian and indigenous characters as living. What do you mean indigenous? Breathing people. What does indigenous mean?
They don't know. They use it for literally, but it just means not white people. Let's be honest. That's what it's just another one of their weasel words. Because technically, I'm an indigenous to this continent. This is where I was born.
I'm an indigenous swamp Yankee, baby.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't. But we're not. See, we're not allowed to have that, Chester, because we're too white. So I'm not. I'm not allowed to be a Native American, even though I literally am one.
Yeah.
Uh,
Eric's not
because
though. I
yeah,
think he's from
because my
Yeah.
skin's
Milwaukee or
too white.
something. We don't count them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm from Michigan, just
Oh,
like
that's
JD
worse.
is,
Jesus.
and I am I'm
That's
also part
funny.
Native American. So
Oh, there you
Yeah.
go. There you go. I don't
I
have
want my
any.
I mean,
Cleveland Indians
technically,
back.
if you
Yeah.
want to be semantical about it, I'm full Native American. My father was born here. I was born here, all the way back to the freaking witch. What do they call the Salem witch trials? I have family all the way back,
Yeah, sure.
so I can't get more Native.
Well,
It's impossible.
I'm curious how they're using this indigenous word in regards to Asia, though. Is he
I don't
suggesting that
know.
he's going to put non-Asians in his story? Is that what this is?
Yeah,
Because that's
we're going
weird.
to get some Asians in there because there's this obvious nonsense conspiracy theory that the ancient Asians were black. I'm not making. There's people who
Oh,
actually believe that the Chinese dynasties were founded by black people,
Well, I mean,
and that the Japanese were founded by
yeah, I've
the
heard
island was
this
originally conquered by black
this
people. Like
dumbass theory.
what
Now, of
are you
course, there
talking
are
about?
black Asians, but
Yeah,
they're
of
not that,
course.
right? But anyway,
No.
let's keep going here. Let's see, where was I? Living, breathing people. Yeah, okay. Not just in a cartoon, but in a world that truly exists, very similar to the one we live in. He declared. Now, hold on a second.
Why?
You
Why
know,
would you?
he said he was going to be authentic to this original series, but yet it's in a world that truly exists, very similar to the one we live in. A world that truly exists, very similar to where we're in it. Now, if you haven't seen Avatar, it's in a fantasy version of Asia. It's not doesn't even look like the map doesn't even look like Asia. It's just Asian
Right.
themed. So
Yes.
to be authentic, you wouldn't be anywhere near our world,
No.
right? But it continues.
I mean, I
Uh,
remember looking at videos in Asia of Asian people bending water. That
yeah.
I could see where he tried to bring that to life in a live action.
Yeah, yeah. But you see how the guy is constantly contradicting his initial
Yeah,
good statement, right?
because he's
Um,
lying.
he is lying. Kim would then declare that he has no intentions of changing things from the animated series to the live action show for the sake of change. For the sake of change. Okay. Little caveat there. Um, I don't want to modernize the story or twist it to fit current trends, but you are. Aang
Yeah,
is not going to be a gritty anti-hero. Katara is not going to get certain bangs. What does that mean? Is
I
that a
certain
don't know.
bangs. Certain
I
lesbian
don't.
bangs.
reference, maybe? I don't know.
Probably, yeah.
He said, I was briefly tempted to give Sokka a TikTok account, though. Think of the possibilities. No, no, you're way off base here, brother. However, just after writing that, he noted, "Don't get me wrong, we'll be expanding and growing the world, and there will be surprises for existing fans and those who take the tail."
I
Goodness
fucking hate these
gracious.
people, man.
Yeah,
They're such scum. They're just scum. They take other people's work and they purposefully adulterate it. They purposefully, literally rape it of all of its decency.
yep,
You're scum. You're intellectual rapists. You're not creative. You're scum. Actual scum.
yeah. Well, I suggest you go read the article. It continues on. It gives lots of information. And by the end of the article, you already, I don't need to read more because you already get the gist. This is not going to be authentic at all. They're completely changing it. It is in the modern world. It is in our world. Aang is literally a orphan kid going to school, literally in a school, and it will be teenage drama in the school. I guarantee
Yes.
it. The bending is something that's new to the world. People don't know what's going on. Dumb, et cetera, et cetera. It's nothing at all similar to the original. This word he keeps using, authenticity. Either he's full of shit or he doesn't know what the word means. You choose, right? But this is a
Uh,
train wreck in progress, dude. It's a train wreck in progress. And it's sad because it's his very first statement is the most important one. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Leave it alone, dude. Leave it
It
alone.
says why fix it, not don't fix.
Well, I'm corrected.
Vinny gave you all the reasons why.
Yeah,
Mr.
exactly.
Kim here wants to take an all Asian series that was quite effective at promoting Asian representation, the nonsense word, which is just a nonsense word they use. They don't actually mean that. Because nobody really cared. It was just Aang and his adventures and his friends, and it was awesome. It's a good
Yep.
time.
Yep.
Action show. So
And
Mr. Kim wants to take that and make it all about the thing that nobody cared about, completely missing the complete fucking point of why it's so important to tell stories based off of certain aesthetics when it comes to racial groups. They claim that it's super important to have representation, right? It matters so much. Okay, fine, I'll go along with you. What he's planning to do is bastardize representation by destroying a great work, literally a great work that presented the perfect form of representation that they could ever want.
Yep. Yep. Well, here's the thing. You said that Fire Nation will be white people. I don't think so. I don't think you'll see a single white person in the show. And that's as it should be. However, I'm going to say it now. I guarantee you the Fire Nation will be Japanese. Seriously. These Koreans have an unreasonable hate of Japan, dude.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
I'm
I
telling
think we should get out of Japan's way and just let them reconquer Asia.
you.
Just full on. I don't even care what they do. Everybody over there besides them deserves it. Just let them go. Just turn your back. Let the land of the rising sun burn away the filth and be done with it.
Yeah. But anyway, I'm going to move on from this and leave you this image of Mr. Kim here and his brain cancer. It seems to be receding his hairline, which sucks, dude. Cancer.
And
Damn
you
cancer.
know this guy, this guy here, he's probably second generation American or Canadian, and the mind virus has gotten him.
Oh yeah.
Whereas the first generation probably loved where they were because of where they came from, by and large.
Oh sure.
So these people come over, they have their children, and a bunch of white and Jewish liberals get in their head about how evil capitalism and all this other stuff, all the West is, and so many of them just fall for it.
Eh.
But when you actually go to Asia, like Chester's Inn, none of them give a shit. They don't fall for none of it. The Chinese, the literal communists, don't fall for it. They're like, no, this is stupid. It's all dumb. They hate it.
That's true.
They can't stand it.
That's true. And you know, with that statement, after the war, when a lot of Koreans came to America, of course, after the Vietnamese did the same thing, et cetera, et cetera. But after the war, a lot of those people, found good lives for themselves in America, and Korea itself has modernized quite well. It's not 100%
You're
there.
welcome.
It's not like Japan, but it has modernized fairly well. But you got to keep in mind that at that time, if I were to ask you what was the most primitive area in Asia, Eastern Asia, you wouldn't say Korea, but it was incredibly primitive because it's a war-torn area. All it is a battleground between the Chinese and the Japanese. They didn't fight each other directly. They were always fighting each other there. And it was incredibly primitive place. So good on that they've actually been able to modernize and kind of get a unity and a nationality. But I find it funny that all their angst and anger goes toward Japan when China has done far worse to them. But you never hear them mentioned. As a matter of fact, they're allies. It's weird. If you just bother to study the history, but whatever, none of that matters. You're an idiot, and no one's going to watch your dumb show, dude. It's just ridiculous. Anyway, now this is interesting, kind of connection to a conversation. Go ahead.
Disney CEO Bob Chapek describes Shang-Chi theatrical release as interesting experiment. After Black Widow and Jungle Cruise bomb. I forgot Jungle Cruise even came out. Bomb at the box office.
Yeah, a lot of things are bombing. Suicide Squad, which was a watchable movie, actually.
Yes.
And of course, this prompted a very angry response from Mr. Office Worker Asian Man, playing a cool character. He looks like an office worker. He doesn't look like an action hero at all. And let me see if they put his statement in here. Most of the statement was pretty good, but I don't see it in here. That's too bad. I would have put that in here. But anyway, most of his statement was fine. But what he also mentioned that you got to go see this movie. We're not an experiment. We're cool. We're representing, and we're breaking the ceiling. And it's like, dude, have you never heard of Bruce Lee or Jackie Chan or Li Ling Chang or Chai Yun Fat or I could go on, right? I mean, the Asian people that broke the ceiling in the frickin' 60s. What are you talking about there, young man?
The only reason martial arts movies exist in the West is
Yeah,
because of those people.
he's such an
Like, it's
idiot.
ridiculous.
Well,
And
he's an
this
idiot.
movie is just another one of Disney's desperate attempts to break into the Chinese market successfully. Every time they try, for except a very few exceptions, they fail. China has no interest in their agenda. They see it. The Chinese people have no interest in it. It's one of the few things they're allowed to do is simply not go to these movies in a form of protest if they want to.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't affect the Chinese government in any way. So that's the main reason.
And,
But
you know,
they don't like it. They don't want nothing to do with it. When the first Star Wars movie came out, and it did a little bit over there, the reviews came in from the Chinese saying they don't want to watch ugly people. Why does Hollywood keep putting ugly people in their movies?
fair
That's an
point.
exact quote.
It's a very fair
And
point,
they don't want anything to do with your woke bullshit. You want to break into China, you're going to have to get traditional. That means no gayness, no black people. That means none, or very few black people. That means none of that stuff, because that's what the Chinese people are about. You don't have to like it, but it's the truth.
It is.
And they have no desire to watch it, and they're not going to. They have abjectly refused it every time.
And you got to keep this in mind as well. It's probably something you guys aren't aware of, but China is closing its doors right now.
Yep.
And they're recruiting mass numbers of people in their military. They're preparing, right? And they're closing their borders. Basically, they're closing down their culture is what they're doing. Anything like, for instance, being an English teacher in Asia is good money. Look, I built my own school, right? And in
Mhm.
China, it's no different. But those have all been closed. All non-Chinese are being kicked out of the country. Karaoke music that is not Chinese is being banned. Karaoke shop people are being arrested and disappearing. They're in a radical shutdown right now. China is pushing everything that is Western out because they want to keep complete control of their system as they head into what they see as a time of war. That's what's happening in China. So the last thing the Chinese government, their CCP, gives a shit about is frickin' Disney. And it's funny because Disney thinks they care. They don't care about you, dude. They are preparing for war. That's what
Yeah.
the Chinese are
They
doing.
are preparing to physically, forcefully expand, uh, and they're not being shy about it. And unfortunately, the only people who have a chance to truly stop them, the Indians will probably stop them going that way, but the other direction, they're going to have Southeast Asia all to themselves probably. Um, we're too busy having an actual pudding-brained man for a leader,
Yeah.
so who can't even get us, who decided to pull us out of the graveyard of empires and left almost all of our equipment behind. So now our former enemy is better equipped than most of our troops. Brilliant. Just
Yeah. Genius stuff.
brilliant.
Yeah. Genius stuff.
Brilliant.
But that's not, Eric, what I wanted to talk about with this article. It's all interesting, but this is what I want, and I'm curious of your opinion. I watched Midnight's Edge. If you guys don't watch Midnight's Edge and you're interested in what's happening in the behind the scenes in Hollywood, you should. Those guys are clearly connected. I don't think it's to directors and actors particularly. It's more producers, cameramen, these kind of people. But they're clearly connected. They've been right every time. They know what they're talking about, and they're because the leader is a European. They're very conservative about what they will state. Midnight's Edge is a very useful place, and what Adrian particularly was talking about yesterday or the day before, was this. What's really happening with this, Scarlett Johansson lawsuit and all this pushback and these negative articles like this one about Bob Chapek, is Bob Chapek has the full support of the shareholders, 100%. and because they're not making money, and he's a money guy, which is what really we need is a money guy. But because he's going in and he's basically, I didn't know this, but he's taken away the authority of Kevin Feige and Kathleen Kennedy very recently, and basically said, all right, any project you have, you can't just greenlight on your own anymore. You have to go through marketing, and they will tell you whether you can make it or not. They are
Yeah.
pissed. All of this stuff, the Johansson lawsuit and all this stuff, is basically Feige and Kathleen Kennedy, and a little bit of Bob Iger, I think, as well, that are trying to push back against the loss of their power. But the thing is, the shareholders are behind him. They're going to lose this battle. So what you're seeing is the death throes of that aspect of Hollywood elite in as far as Disney is concerned. So that's why you're seeing so many articles about Bob Chapek and how awful and horrible he is recently. And you're going to see more. It's going to get louder. But that's what's going on. It's actually because Bob Chapek wants to make money, heaven forbid,
That
and is
bastard.
that
That monster.
bastard, and taking power away from Feige and Kennedy. Now,
Good.
good, yeah. But Eric, what do you think about that? That's really what's going on.
How recently did he do this? Do you know?
Very recently, because
I do know they just turned into their quarter numbers and they made a profit. First time since last year, I believe it was like 700 million, where they lost like 2 billion last year.
Yeah.
They did make a profit this quarter, which I heard on I just heard that this weekend.
That's pretty easy to do when you were after a massive contraction. They would have to be in serious trouble if they lost again.
Yeah. Well, it's recent enough that it didn't catch any of the Disney Plus series, the Black Widow movie, any of the stuff we see that's coming out right now or been delayed, which we'll get to later. All of that stuff was before that was greenlit and done. So he's done it in the past few months, I would say.
Okay. Well, he is the CEO, so his job is to make money for the company.
Yeah.
That's what he's supposed to do.
To Iger, he did. He made them so much money. He grew that company better than Walt did. I mean, he did a fantastic job, Bob Iger did. Let's be honest, he did. He made them truckloads of money, more money than our brains can actually visualize. That's how much money he brought into that company. And then he left it in a very strong position, and COVID happened, and that's what happened. But he had left it in the other Bob's hands, and he took a step back and basically just took like an honorary title where he has some power, but I think Bob handles all the day-to-day, the other Bob, Chapek. And I think what you're seeing, I think, Chester, you're correct. I don't have any reason to doubt what you're saying, is Chapek's trying to take more and more power and control, period.
Yeah.
Which is probably a good thing, because Iger's disconnected. He did his bet. He got Fox in. That was his big prize, his big imperial conquest. Yeah. He's done. His legacy's set. He could go away tomorrow, and he would be remembered forever at Disney as a great leader. So he doesn't have to be directly involved in stuff. And I think it was him that was reining in the super woke leanings of Feige and Kennedy as much as he could. And I think it was coming from him to rein that stuff in. And it's why the MCU largely didn't do it. There was a couple, bits, pieces here, there, except for at the end, of course. But it was really successful because they were just comic book action movies by and large. And it worked. They had a great formula, work, blah, blah, blah. Chapek sounds like a guy who wants to focus on the profit first and then the agenda. He's still on board with the agenda. Make no mistake. You can read the stuff he's done in the past. You can read interviews he's given. He is 100% on board with their agenda. Disney's agenda is set by their board, not by the CEO. It will continue to push regressive bullshit. It's been doing it for 40 years. It's been doing it since before Iger. They're not going to stop just because they have a new CEO. That being said, if they're not making the money they should be making, or that they were making, or whatever, then the CEO's head's on the line. Because even with the agenda, Iger was still making them boatloads of money. And that's the CEO's job. His number one job is to can grow the company, and the only way to do that is to make money.
Yeah.
So this is a good sign, actually, because like I said, my prediction was 2022, 2023. Most of the woke stuff will become so irrelevant or gone that it'll be like a fad that most people have forgotten about. Not all of it. I still think you're going to see a lot of the racial part of it that a lot of people don't notice anymore because it's been going on for so long, like the race swapping into this into that. That'll still happen, but a lot of the super hard push into sexual stuff, I think, is going to be retracted because the audience is abjectly reject it.
Yeah,
they don't want to see it. And that is something that this is the battle that needs to happen. And if Chapek's the one that's bringing the sanity to it, like, hey, we have to do things that the audiences want because we're a entertainment company and they're not entertained, then I'm on his side because that's all I care about. I don't care. They can push their agenda. Like I said, Disney's been pushing it my whole life. You can go back and watch any Disney movie made in the last 40 years and there's liberal agenda in it. All of them. There's no exception to this. So it's not that huge of a deal to me as long as as long as everything else works. Right? You can make a hard lefty thing if it's done well. It's a good story. It's proper film or what have you. That's fine. That's totally fine. I've never been an advocate for that they shouldn't be allowed to make it. You can't make that shit. No, fuck it. I'm not like that. If it's good, I only care about quality. If it's quality, I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
The problem is it's become propaganda. It's become bad quality. It's so apparent. It's transparent. Nobody wants to watch it. It's like you went to church half the time, right? You're sitting in a pew, listening to being preached to about how evil white people are. Literally at the end of the Winter Soldier and the Falcon show, that was just like a sermon he basically was given. The new Captain America was. It was ridiculous.
Yeah.
I think my prediction's going to come true. I think this is a sign. These movies keep bombing. They're even bombing on the streaming services. People aren't watching them.
Yeah,
that is not sustainable for Disney. Disney obviously needs to hit them big numbers to keep the shareholders happy, keep their stock price up.
That's the issue, the shareholders. Yeah, that is.
And what's happening, I think, is Chapek's desire to correct that. And you have people like Kennedy and Feige who insist it has nothing to do with wokeness. They don't call it that, of course, but you know what I mean. And it's all about, pandemic and, racist white men don't want to come see our movies. We've heard all the bullshit excuses they've made up because they just make trash that no one wants to watch.
Yeah. No, it's all fair. I am much pleased that Chapek seems to be a money guy because I want a greedy bastard in charge because I want them to make money. And you're right about the agenda thing. It's always been there, and that's not the problem. The problem is they're telling us instead of showing us. Let me check a look here at the chat real quick. Let's see here. Captain Canada says, I'm ready for Avatar to burn just more. It's going to be glorious. It looks bad, dude. Let's see. Flying Saucer says, good grief to that. Yeah, true. Lady Celtic Moon says, I'm Texas born and bred. Why, you can't blame me for that, Lady Celtic Moon. It's not my fault. The last time I was in Texas was 1990. Wait, how old are you?
I think she's your age, Chester.
Yeah, I'm just kidding. All right. Dave says, Saved by the Bell dude saying stupid gif. Yeah, exactly. Flying Saucer says, this sounds worse than what happened to He-Man. Yeah, Avatar thing's a mess, dude. Eric says, have you heard of the infamous martial artist actor Sum T Wong? Roger says, why am I hearing that they're moving half of all Disney employees to Florida? Because they're firing a lot, and Disneyland in California is leaving just like everybody else, I think. Are you not entertained? Dave says, no.
No, we're not.
Dave.
That's the problem.
No, Dave. Okay.
I actually am kind of worried about this Shang-Chi movie because I thought it looked okay. It looked like a upper B action movie, like kung fu movie, from the trailers I've seen. Not like anything spectacular, not like Warrior or whatever, something that's gonna blow you away, but just a fine little, mystical martial arts movie.
Yeah, no, I thought it's the same thing. Yeah, I thought so.
And I'm worried that if it doesn't succeed, we won't get another one from a major company. And again, because I wouldn't mind, we've been talking about what's going to replace superhero genre as like the main crux of movies, the genre. I'd be okay with it being martial arts movies. That'd be sweet. I love martial arts.
Yeah, it would be. But I think the problem you have with this movie in particular, one, China's already banned it. It's not going to China. All right, so
They said,
that was their intention with it. I grew up reading Shang-Chi, as Eric probably did as well. I would be very happy to see a good Shang-Chi movie.
yeah,
But the problem is most people have no clue who this character is at all. So that's a
no,
negative.
I don't.
Second negative is this guy, he might be capable of doing your action movie stuff, but like my wife says, he looks like a salaryman. He looks like an office worker. There's no visual charisma whatsoever with this guy. It's just a strange choice, especially seeing as you have so many good Asian action stars to choose from. Why not bring in Tony Jaa or
I have,
some?
bro, I have no idea. Tony Jaa is amazing. He deserves way more work than he gets. Some of his movies are, and his action scenes are so visceral, like they're visceral. You can feel them when you watch
Yeah,
them, and that would be awesome for
yeah,
Shang-Chi. That'd be awesome just in the MCU period to have somebody who can bring that with him. Right, he can bring his crew with him. They can put together some really badass, visceral, hard hitting, especially with the ground level guys. Right, not your necessarily your Iron Mans or whatever. They need to be more, fast paced, fantastical. But for somebody like a Black Widow, how awesome would it have been for that movie to be choreographed by the people who do Tony Jaa stuff?
yeah, yeah. Or
Oh,
the raid
oh,
guys. Yeah,
oh
yeah.
my God!
Yeah, no, it's true. But and I know you guys might say, "Well, Tony Jaa's Thai," yeah, like as if you can tell one agent from the other. Please.
Shit.
Uh,
His mom was tied. There you go. He looks
there you
there.
go.
Answered
Uh,
half.
Now, go ahead.
Alleged leaked photo reveals Moon Knight's live action look.
Okay.
Ooh. Why does
Now,
he?
a couple of us are certainly excited about the potential of it, but there you go. There it is.
Um, I
It
need to
looks
see
like a
it.
mummy.
Yeah, I need to
Yeah,
see it in different.
I get it. You see what they did there, didn't you? Yeah,
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 I need to see it in different light, but otherwise, I think it could work with the right lighting because that's very important. Is how they light the character and how because that'll make you be able to see things in the costume you wouldn't normally be able to see and shading and all that stuff. They spend a ridiculous amount of time on movie and TV sets fighting with lighting. Like that's
yeah.
the
No,
main
that's
crux of
true.
the time.
Gay mummy, Dave says. Well, the actor maybe, but who knows what they'll do with him? But look at the scene behind him. That bathroom is absolutely trashed. Which
Something bad happening there.
Yeah,
Oof.
which it makes me feel good about the potential violence because Moon Knight should be Batman on steroids when it comes to breaking bones. That's what
Yeah.
Moon Knight is. So
Put Tony Jaa in the costume. Let him handle
yeah,
it.
right? Well, it's what they did with Taskmaster in the movie. The whole movie is a guy in a suit. It's a man,
Yeah, and then all of a
right?
sudden he's a woman. Like,
Yeah,
wait a minute. That was clearly a guy. Like,
yeah,
come on.
yeah, yeah. But they do have another Oscar Isaacs. That's who's doing this, right? Oscar Isaacs, right?
Yeah.
And they do have an image of him here. Uh,
And holy crap, dude. Whew. He is not aging well. Not aging well.
yeah. But I don't know what to say about it. This is really the only thing to talk about is this picture here.
Yeah.
It's not Moon Knight. Maybe that's Khonshu.
Maybe it is. It could be
Be?
Khonshu. That's
Could be.
fair.
Yeah.
Or
That's
maybe
totally
he
possible.
embodies Khonshu. I think they're gonna do something weird with it. These guys can't follow the script, dude.
I
They can't.
would love for them to go full on with him being insane and just make that a huge premise for the movie of the insanity arc that he had. Because I think that could be interesting in a movie format. For me personally, not necessarily fans of Moon Knight, maybe not, but for
Yeah.
me, that'd be interesting to watch if they did it well.
Yeah, no, if that's all that's the key thing, if they do it well. We just want a
Yes.
fun, good story, dude. That's it. That's
Yeah,
it.
that's it. I don't need you to tell me your politics, guys. I don't. I don't care. I literally could not think of anybody besides. Nope. Actually, I'd listen to them first. Besides a street bum, I'd listen to his politics before I care about your liberal elite bullshit. Nobody cares. We all know what they are. We get it. You think you're better than everybody. Okay, fine. Please just give me a good movie to watch. Dance, clown. This is why, you see, now I understand why the Greeks and the Romans and others treated thespians like trash.
Yeah, they did.
Because if you
Yeah.
don't, they get a big head, and you just gotta knock them. But dance, clown. You gotta knock them down a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. Elrod, yeah, that is true. Cinemas are sadly going away. Yeah, that is true. But anyway, let's move on. I just kind of want to show that picture. This is an interesting conversation. Go ahead.
Oh, Aquaman star Jason Momoa throws hat into the ring for a chance to direct a Justice League sequel.
Well,
There will be a lot more bro moments, I'm sure.
there will be. I don't know that there will be a sequel to Justice League. It depends on who ends up being in charge over there. But that's not the thing that was interesting to me. Jason Momoa directing. Now, if you guys have been following this guy's career, you know two things. One, the ladies love him and he can sell action pretty well. Two, he's an absolute flower child hippie.
Yeah.
A
And one more
literal
thing, he should have
flower
been
child
Lobo.
hippie. He should have
That's
been
a
Lobo.
missed
That's true.
opportunity by
That is.
DC. They could have had a Lobo and Superman movie, and it could have been awesome.
Yeah.
And he could have been him.
Yeah.
Missed
But
opportunity.
it was a missed opportunity. But Eric, here's the thing. This guy has been doing things for a very long time. If you keep in mind, the first time I saw him was in Stargate Atlantis. That's and he was from that of the
Yep.
Pegasus Galaxy, or I guess it was, or wherever he was from. But that's the first time I saw him. And he probably had been working before that, I'm sure, and he has built his body and his career since then. And like I said, he is a literal flower child. However, this guy's been in the industry a very long time. He's been working hard a very long time. What do you think about this guy getting a shot at directing? What do you think about that?
He has been around a long time. I think one of his earliest gigs was actually Baywatch.
Oh, makes sense.
That's a long time ago. He's been around long enough, and he's worked with enough directors. He might be able to direct. I mean, we've seen a lot of actors go into directing and turned out pretty good. A lot of Ben Affleck's movies that he's directed have been pretty good. Heck, Ron Howard, Lou Opie.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
it's not unheard of an actor becoming a director. I mean, this guy's more of a physical person. I mean, well, someone when you see him, you don't think of him a director. You think of this big muscular dude. So that might turn some people off. I bet he could probably do it.
great Scott Snyder. Steiner. I agree, Dave.
Steiner.
Yeah, yeah. But
Pump a pump.
yeah. But here's the thing. Talk about drug fueled rage. Jesus.
No, never. He never touched one steroid. Not a one.
But I mean, because if I said let's let Dwayne Johnson direct, everyone would laugh.
Yeah.
However, Jason Momoa, I don't know, maybe.
I
Dude.
think Momoa, depending on the right film, I think he'd be fine. He doesn't come off to me as an idiot. He comes off to me as an ignorant person, at least in his beliefs, but not an idiot. And I think he'd probably be fine. And let's be honest. Whenever his directorial debut was, I don't know, 40 years ago, when Clint Eastwood started directing shit, do you think people believed in him? And he's probably the best living director, or one of them, right now.
Yeah, he turned out to be a good director, didn't he? Elrod, never said Momoa was a great actor. I just said he's been around a lot longer
He's acted a lot.
He's been a lot.
Momoa is really good at what he does. He's a great character actor as long as he's playing the same character.
Yeah.
You keep him there, and he's fabulous.
He's
you try and move him out of there.
Yeah,
you try and move him out of there, or I'll give him better than
he
that.
doesn't end up like Steven Seagal.
I'll give him better than that.
Right. No, that would be.
He's like a Tom Cruise,
that
insofar
would be
as
the
he's
story, though,
same
Booster. Yeah, I mean Steven Seagal.
listen.
Jesus Christ, dude.
You give Steven Seagal the Justice League sequel, that could be entertaining. It won't be good,
Yeah,
but it could be entertaining.
there'd be a lot of spray on hair.
Steven Seagal play? Would he just play himself as the leader of the Justice League?
He would. He would. Yeah.
He would just come in
he'd
and
be
kick
Superman.
that man's ass.
That's Superman.
Come on, Superman. You and me are gonna take down this dark side motherfucker.
Yeah, right. No, I mean Steven Seagal.
He'd
Jesus,
have a
what a
karate fight with Superman and win, and Superman would go, "How can you train me? I'll give it my best.
Aw, Steven. Anyway, just an interesting question. When I saw that, I didn't laugh. I was like, maybe. Maybe he can. Let's see. Because I think, was it Eric made the Clint Eastwood comment? Or Thundero?
Darrow.
He
Thundero.
can't
But,
do worse than He can't do worse than Zack Snyder.
well, Clint Eastwood's
Yeah.
a good example. I mean, he's a better actor than Momoa, for sure. But
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
when he made that
Fucking
transition
Yes.
but when he made that transition to director, a lot of people were looking sideways at that. But he
Yeah,
turned out to be really good at it, right?
Oh, he's insane. He might honestly be the best living director, like, and active, because 90 something, he's still
How
making
is he
movies.
still going? How is
Yeah.
he still going?
He's an insane man who does insane things for insane reasons, but I love watching them, so I'm happy about it.
The blood of children, Booster.
Yeah, it could be.
Hmm.
You know, he's just got
Well,
them
give
crazy.
me some of that shit.
His son that looks just like him. Woo!
Yeah, right, yeah. His son's not really
yeah.
getting as much work as you would think, though. But oh well.
No.
Scott Eastwood, no,
Yeah.
he's not up there. Well, yeah.
Go ahead, Booster.
Ooh, alrighty. Rumor: the Suicide Squad's failure, such a shame, but could force Margot Robbie to take a hiatus from Harley Quinn before role is possibly recast.
That's a very weird headline. Why is it worded
Claps.
very oddly? Yeah, that would be a wonderful thing. Can we please listen, Margot? I don't even dislike Margot, to be
No,
honest with you.
No,
I don't dislike her as Harley Quinn. I just dislike
tired of
Harley
it.
Quinn.
that's right.
Yes, I am freaking tired of it. Please, there are other females, really, really cool female characters in DC, in the Batman universe, that could use some attention.
Tell me,
Please.
Here's the thing.
tell me how we don't have a Vixen movie. How is it we
don't
don't have a freaking Vixen movie?
How do we not have a Huntress series on one of these streaming platforms? Why is there not a Huntress series
Yeah.
or one with her in it? Right, like a little. Hell, you could do a Birds of Prey series.
Yeah, a real one.
Why?
Yeah,
Yeah, a real one.
yeah. Go ahead,
Yeah.
Booster.
I'm shocked they fucked up Birds of Prey so much. For one,
They
if you're
did.
gonna have Harley Quinn, it should have been Gotham City Sirens.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And they could try to go on with Birds of Prey with those actors, but shit, that was just such a low energy movie.
Yeah, no.
Imagine-
And the Suicide Squad is at least fun, but this character Harley Quinn, she hasn't been good since New 52. She just she's simply not Harley Quinn anymore.
She's
No,
not. That's
she's
the whole problem. Yeah, she's a ditz and somehow a super soldier. I don't
Somehow.
know.
As
She
cool as
killed
her
more
action
people
scene
in that
was,
movie than Peacekeeper did. Or she did. Or Peacemaker. She killed more people in that movie than I think all the men did.
Oh no, she certainly
Oh.
did. She was the star.
Yeah.
of the
all of
movie,
her action
clear.
scenes were cool. It was just like, how? Psychiatrist? What?
Yeah,
I
no.
was-
Why are they not firing? They all had body armor and guns. Just fire
They're just
back.
running up to her.
Yeah, well, just imagine if it were Huntress or someone like that, then your brain would be like, okay, right?
Yeah, it's Huntress. Fine.
It's
That makes
Huntress.
sense. That checks out.
Yeah, but that's the first statement Booster made is probably the most important one. Suicide Squad's failure, because
Yeah.
it's a very watchable movie. It is unfortunate
Yeah, it is.
that it has bombed.
Did you see, Chester, that I have yet to be wrong on my pedodar?
Well,
Uh,
no, I'm getting to it. Damn it.
Okay. Oh, okay.
I wouldn't
Dude.
be bragging about pedodar.
Yeah.
It's not a bragging. Trust me, it's not. It's a warning that if it goes off, listen to it because it doesn't miss.
Yeah.
It just
Not
doesn't
someone we
miss.
know again, is it?
Well,
Yeah, it is.
Well-
It's several we know. Elrod released the Seagal cut. I agree, dude.
me too. That would just
yeah,
be
that would
amazing
be
to watch.
amazing.
Motherfucker.
But
I'll get it
no.
done in a budget of $2 million.
What I want to say about this is, imagine now all this time they've spent on Harley Quinn and failed now multiple times
Yeah.
with this character because
3 times.
it just doesn't work. Imagine if we could have got a Joker level movie about like Poison Ivy. Like a movie with that much attention to detail, with that well crafted of a story about her madness and her descent into her madness from just, a scientist into the psychopath she becomes. Because she's a crazy bitch. Like, people
Yeah.
need to understand, she's not just hot, she's crazy. All
You
the
are
way.
not getting that for a while. The last really good depiction of Poison Ivy I've seen was the Long Halloween animated movies.
Yeah.
They get her perfect. She's creepy. She's in the dark. She's got, as she's staying back, she's got the plants doing everything for her.
I
Right?
love it.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
love it.
Well, the video
She's
game
really
series.
good in the Long Halloween.
Yeah, no, that's true. In the video game series, she's depicted well as well. That Batman
Yes.
Arkham Knight series. I
And
thought
Arkham series.
Now she's just lesbian, I guess.
And now she's just pretty and likes plants.
she scissors on the front cover with Harley Quinn of comic books. At the same time, they're screaming about Japanese bouncing boobies.
Yeah.
Understand the
Yeah,
logic
nothing
you're
makes
dealing with.
sense.
They literally put two women scissoring on a comic book as they're complaining about boobies in Japan. Yep, that's the
It's
world.
really, the answer to that is because they don't have boobies. You see, these are ugly shrew women, and no one wants to mate with them. So they're jealous of the fake boobies on a page. But they can't process that emotion.
Well,
So they lash out as if it's some political statement.
Yeah, no, sure, that's true. Eric, the sad thing is, in the Birds of Prey movie as well as in the Suicide Squad, we missed the opportunity to see the Margot Robbie boobies. I mean, it's a missed opportunity. She's getting older. Those boobies aren't going to be like that forever.
Yeah.
They don't stay perky, folks.
They tend to start sagging a little bit. You know what else is interesting? She already said, I think it was a week or two before the movie came out, she was probably done playing Harley Quinn anyway.
Yeah, no, I think so. Yeah.
But, I think its failure in the theaters is due to the Delta scare, and everybody stopped going to the theaters again.
Maybe
I think it
people
would have
are
done
just
better
sick
if
of the bullshit.
people wouldn't have done that. Yeah.
Maybe people are apprehensive. The James Gunn thing could have had something to do with it. Could have.
Did anyone watch the Birds of Prey series back in was it early 2000s?
I didn't know that existed until
No, there
recently.
was. It had Huntress and Black Canary and yeah. It was better. It was CW crap, but it was better. Anyway, let's move on here.
That looked like it aged poorly.
It did. Yeah, they all do. Go ahead, Booster.
God. New synopsis released for Tom Holland's Uncharted films. Details will be an origin film.
Such a miscasting.
Why are we sucking Tom Holland's dick? Can someone explain this to me? Why Tom Holland is massive? Same with Zendaya. I'm hearing about these two constantly, and I don't know what the fuck they're in other than Spider-Man.
Okay, let me ask my wife. Baby, Booster wants to know why everyone is sucking Tom Holland's dick. She's confused. Give it a second.
No.
No, she doesn't understand the question, Booster.
Nope,
She doesn't understand the question.
All right. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, can you answer it for me then?
No, because
No.
I mean the kid's effervescent. There's a word, but he's a lot of people don't. I guess they say don't really know who Spider-Man is, which I think is impossible statement. But whatever. He's not really Spider-Man, but he's just doing what he's told. He's very, very millennial soy boy.
Yes.
So I don't know why people are doing that, Booster. I don't know why
he's just the face for that for a lot of people.
I guess he is.
To
He's
enjoy
cute.
that.
Is Tom Holland cute, baby? The Spider-Man boy. He cute. She said. He's cute.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, he's a little cutie pie. There you go.
Oh, she said I'm cuter. Aw.
Marky Mark behind him.
It is, dude.
It's so sweet that your wife would lie to you for you.
Well, that's marriage, brother. But yeah, no. Now, Marky Mark, or Mark Wahlberg being the actual Nathan Drake from Uncharted, that makes a lot more sense to me.
That would work better, a lot better than very, very skinny Tom Holland, who's only like 5'7". Yeah.
I think Mark Wahlberg's getting a bit old for it, but it's still a much better fit. Yeah, Mark Wahlberg's 50. He's doing well for 50, but he's 50 now.
Pull it off. Why not?
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you
the problem with Tom Holland isn't really even, in my opinion, Tom Holland. I like Tom Holland. I think he's fine. He's not a bad actor. His version of Spider-Man isn't his fault. It's just not. He did what they told him to do. And for the most part, it's okay. It's not great. It's not Spider-Man, in my opinion. It's Spider-Boy. But that I don't think that's on him. I think that's on them, mostly.
Sure. Yeah.
That being said, he has no business playing Nathan Drake. He doesn't have the wit. He doesn't have the physical charisma of a Nathan Drake. And he doesn't come off to me as somebody of any intellect. Whereas Nathan Drake is a smart guy. Yeah, he plays a bumbling fool sometimes, but he clearly knows his stuff, right? He knows what he's talking about. He knows his history, at least in the lore of the game. And I just don't, none of that, Tom doesn't give me any of that. Like, when I look at Tom Holland, I'm not thinking, there's an intellectual, there's a man who has diligently studied history and archaeology and myths and legends surrounding it. That doesn't, no, it just doesn't work. Sometimes good actors are put in bad roles, or a role that's bad for them, I should say, and it just doesn't work. And I have a strong suspicion that's what this is going to be. I don't want it to be. I want it to succeed. Uncharted is one of my favorite video game series, period. It is the best PlayStation exclusive series. I don't care what anybody says, but it's not going to succeed. I'm going to be honest. It's just not. What'd you say, Booster?
I like Infamous.
Infamous
I
is
do
good too, but
I prefer Infamous myself. Yeah,
it's dog shit. I don't like the third one that much, but the first two are really good.
Yeah, that was very forgettable. But Infamous 2 is such a fucking good game.
Yeah,
Infamous 2 is
really good game. But no, he's way too whiny and soft and scaredy to be Nathan Drake. But we'll see. You never know. Maybe he'll pull it off. But I
feel
still.
Tom Holland has zero presence.
Yeah, he does. That's true. He's just cute. He's there for the ladies. But I mean, I'm looking at this picture, and I really, really, really want Mark Wahlberg to be Nathan Drake. The more I look.
So is Mark playing his older brother?
Oh,
he does have an older
or the
brother.
mentor guy.
No, he can't be Sully.
Of 30 years.
You're telling me that's Sully?
It might be, yeah.
Mark Wahlberg. That's terrible. That's a worse casting than frickin' Tom Holland. He is not going to pull off Sully. Have you seen Sully? Sully he's got a gravelly voice. He's gritty. He's
Nick
I just
Nolte.
don't even.
He's Nick Nolte.
Yes. Nick Nolte could pull off Sully.
Yeah.
Mark Wahlberg is way too polished for Sully. Sully's the type of guy who you want to be friends with, but if you weren't friends with him, you would never trust him. And even if you are friends with him, you don't really trust him.
That's true.
There's multiple times in the games where it's obvious you can't trust Sully.
Yeah.
Not fully,
I
anyway.
Mark Wahlberg is supposed to be Victor Sullivan.
Oh, this is such a bad. Who's casting director for this? Because they need fired. They need fired immediately.
Well, it's their original story, Thundero. They're gonna reimagine it.
Wahlberg was originally set to star as Nathan Drake when the film was in development for 2010.
Wow.
That would have been wonderful. Wow. Back when he was, still 40. That would have actually worked out.
Nathan Fillion was once supposed to play him too.
There's so many things Nathan was supposed to be.
Spitting image.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. It should have been Nathan. It should still be Nathan Fillion. I don't care.
They completely wasted that actor.
Yeah,
Nathan Fillion wanted to be Booster Gold.
That would be awesome.
He could have killed that. Yep.
He would have killed it, yeah.
See, because that's the thing, right? He looks just like him, but it's not even that. He carries himself like Nathan Drake. He has that same kind of charm, and that's the word I'm looking for, charm. Tom Holland doesn't have charm. He's not charming.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the energy. He's a cute boy. Yeah. He's handsome. He's cute. He's that, but he's not charming.
No, he's
in the
not
same
manly
way
either. Yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas Tom Cruise was able to transition himself, even though they use a lot of camera tricks for Tom Cruise. I get it, but he can sell himself as a man, right?
He can sell himself as tall.
Yeah.
I have it under good authority from my beautiful wife that he is not cute. In fact, I think here's what I think might be happening here. Tom might be a guy that young women think is cute, and that older men look at like, oh, well, young women are going to think he's cute. But then older women, women are like, nah, because he's not. Cause like you said, Chester, he's not manly.
No,
women
he's
like
not manly
men.
at all.
Believe it or not, They like men.
Yeah, he's not. My wife did say he cute. There was no is in there, but that's okay. Roger
Don't
says
you make fun of your wife's accent? It's adorable.
Roger says Sully is old and jaded. That's Sully, and it looks like he just got over the clap. Yeah, Nick Nolte.
Yes. Looks like he just got over the clap.
Yeah, Nick Nolte.
For like the 20th time, probably. This isn't the first time, either.
Anyway, let's move on. Yeah, I don't have a lot of. It's just not a good casting from my point of view. However, you never know. This is just the saddest thing, Booster. It's the saddest thing that could ever happen in the whole history of the world.
I mean, as they should, Chester. Mattel apologizes after Tokyo Olympics. Barbie criticized for not being visibly Asian.
Okay,
As they should apologize, Chester.
that's right. They should. Let's find the visible
so
Asian.
I love it so. I love everything about this.
So which one is supposed to be Asian, Eric? Left
two.
or right? Number 2?
Yeah.
I don't know. Let's ask the Asian wife. I don't know what she's doing. She's on the ground. She's got her ass in the air. She's doing something.
It's not number 4.
Yeah, why
She
not?
said, don't say like
That's
that.
It's one of those indigenous.
You don't know she could be in blackface.
Here, these. Which one is the Asian Barbie?
It's definitely not the two blondes.
Hold
Why
on.
is it two
No,
blondes?
there's an expert on the case. I think the fourth one is not the Asian one. Yep, she said the second one. I think your Booster's correct. Booster knows his Asian ladies.
What does visual Asian mean? Because I immediately thought that was the Asian one. So what are they? Her eyes aren't squinty enough. She doesn't look like some kind of caricature out of a 1950 cartoon.
Big buck teeth goes. Oh, me go to Olympics.
Her hair's not dark enough. I don't understand what that means. She's clearly Asian.
It might be the hair's not dark enough. That's probably what it is.
Well, most Asian girls dye their hair, so it's actually more accurate than they would think.
I assumed they were all black haired.
No,
Here's
they
the real
like
question.
to, like
Asian
their
hair.
hair.
The racism. Why is there two blonde chicks?
Yeah,
The black
Where's the
person is
redhead?
just
Where's the
Asian on
ginger?
Netflix.
look at all the action stuff they got going on. Oh, it's so nice. Skateboarder Asian girl.
Wow.
And there you go. The girls took gold.
popular?
Japanese girls took first and second in that, actually.
Oh,
She's
did
a
they really?
boxing girl.
Wow.
Yeah, they did. I think this is supposed to be this blonde samurai top
Samurai.
is supposed to be Asian too, because a lot of them do like to dye their hair blonde, by the way. But the thing, of course, it's ridiculous. It's hilariously ridiculous. And why are you apologizing, Mattel? Don't apologize to these lunatics.
I just don't understand what more she needs to be. Like, her eyes are the right shape, and they're not like offensive. They're just natural. Her skin
They're
tone
pale.
looks correct.
Yeah.
I
They
don't.
wanted to do an Asian. This is a losing case, no matter what.
What does that mean? Explain yourself, people complaining.
Yeah.
Because I don't understand it. I'm not living in Asia, but I've seen them. I've seen Asian people. Just saw a real cute Asian girl today, actually.
Ooh.
About what she looked like.
Ooh.
I don't know what the issue is.
Well, the one thing, it is good. All these ethnic Barbies all won gold. Every one of them.
Yeah. Because, of course. Yeah.
That's important. But it's dumb, stupid. All right. moving
Oh,
on.
it's so funny. It's the best.
Now,
All right. Sony
Ooh.
delays Venom, Let There Be Carnage after the Suicide Squad and Black Widow's disastrous box office.
Smart.
he's smart.
Yeah, good call. Sony pulled a good one finally. It took them a while,
Took
but
them
they
a while.
finally pulled off a good one.
And
Yeah.
of course, we've seen many movies fail recently. A lot of movies
Yeah.
fail. And
They should have just called that movie "Let There Be Carnage." I think that would have been. Just get rid of the Venom part. I think that would be a better headline. But
That
that's
might
neither here
confuse
nor
people. That might confuse
there.
people. It's like
People
what they
are going to
did
get
with
confused
Prey.
anyway. They're real dumb,
Yeah.
to be honest.
They needed to be perfectly clear this is a Venom sequel. But Let There Be Carnage is a way better title, I agree.
Yeah, no, that's true. But I had one more comment regarding Barbie. I guarantee the people complaining about this are white ladies.
Oh yeah,
No.
Yeah.
No. White women on
Affluent,
the internet complaining, pretending they have power?
affluent,
No.
affluent white females
Yeah.
are a plague on the world. Actual pestilence.
Well, now, in regards to this article, a lot of movies have failed recently. A lot of movies are being pushed back and delayed. It probably is a smart move. I don't know if it's going to help on the back end because a lot of these movies are failing because they're bad movies.
Yeah.
And in regards to Venom particularly, the first movie was really not good. It was really, really, really not good. So therefore, this series, this new sequel here, it can only go up. I don't think there's
Yeah.
anything room below how bad that movie was.
Well, you say that, but
Eh,
then
I think it can get
Birds
worse.
of Prey exists.
but Woody Harrelson can pull off shit though. Woody
Woody
Harrelson
Harrelson's a great
is
actor.
capable.
No question. He
I
has.
still wanted that guy that played Rorschach, but hey.
Yeah, it would
Yeah.
have been good Rorschach.
I would rather have just the whole black suit Spider-Man saga in a minute. I've said it before. I'll say it until they give it to me. A nice trilogy, or maybe even longer, set of movies with a proper Peter Parker, not Tom Holland, and not the version of him. Full on Spider-Man, black suit, the whole saga, all the way up until Carnage shows up. I think that would print money because it already has printed money. There's a reason Venom exists because Venom makes money, but we'll never get it because of all different reasons and Hollywood being just stupid. They're just dumb. There's no other way to put it. They're dumb people who make lots of money because other dumb people give it to them. And I was one of them for years. But personally, I didn't hate the original Venom movie, all that being said, but only because I didn't go into it with any expectations, because it's not a Venom movie. Venom doesn't exist, in my opinion, without Spider-Man. The whole premise of the character is his obsession with Spider-Man. He's obsessed with killing Peter Parker.
Is, yeah.
So it doesn't make any sense to me to call it Venom and not have Peter involved at all. He has nothing to do with it. Plus, his power set that he uses, by and large, comes from Spider-Man. Right? He uses the webs he uses, and all of his abilities are just copies the symbiote stole from Peter Parker. So it doesn't make any sense to have him in his own stuff. I've never liked that. I don't like it when Marvel does it in comic books. I think Venom is a fantastic character when you leave him in the context of his story.
Right. Well,
When
he's
you
a
take it out,
he's a femme fatale, is what he is.
when you take him out of there, he just doesn't make sense. It just loses all.
Weird. It was a weird choice, and I understand why they did it because of the rights and stuff that was going on at the time.
Yes.
They didn't want Disney to own anything of their stuff. I get all of
Yes.
it, but it was a mistake. But they've done it now. They're going forward, and I don't think you're going to see Spider-Man at all. At this point, they might be enemies at some point when they do the Sinister Six, but that's what you're going to get, I think.
I
Or
would
maybe
love a
not.
Craven movie, Dave. If they could
Yeah.
do Craven, that Craven could be done in one movie, easy. He's easy, and oh boy, you do that Craven story that came out right
Craven
before.
Lost Hunt.
That was the lead
Yeah.
into the black suit symbiote Spider-Man saga. Whoo, boy!
Incredible story.
You know,
It's just sitting right there. It's money. They could print it. Just do it.
Yeah.
But they won't.
That's one of my favorites.
Yeah, it is an awesome series. The telling of that, but the Barbie conversation is still going on, and about Barbie not being white enough. Here's the thing: whiteness comes from the Orientals, the Europeans, us. The white dudes that are talking to you. We get our whiteness from them.
Yep.
So I don't know what you're talking about, but okay. Anyway, no, I don't know. Cinema is something we all have loved. We've all grown up with. It's a hobby, and it's in dire, 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 dire straits. I don't know what to say about it, other than that. Hopefully, in time, things will straighten themselves out and correct. But we're in a pretty ugly place right now. That's for damn sure.
Yep.
But everything seems to be. So we'll just have to wait to go through this cycle, I guess. Anyway, What I want to finish up today with is kind of looking at the page here and looking at some of the things that have come up. Now, I talked about that one. Suicide Squad's director James Gunn weighs in on Martin Scorsese's criticism of superhero movies, which he made years ago. Yeah, we get it. Of course, you can read this one, Thunder. Go ahead. I'll let you.
Suicide Squad director James Gunn named in lawsuit for hosting a pedophile-themed party. Now, wait a minute. Can you explain to me why anybody would even conceive of a pedophile-themed party that was not a pedophile? I just who wants to go to that? Who wants to be associated with that?
Yeah.
Files.
And no,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
this article,
Pedophiles do.
this guy is talking about the crimes of another guy.
Yes.
But this is talking about this picture, which we've already seen. And they literally, there are no children at the party, but the party is a pedophile themed one. Now, um, it's creepy, and that was the intention. But the problem is, more and more people around James Gunn are being associated with pedophilia. And
Yeah.
of course, we do have his, as Thundera has reminded you, 10,000 pedophilic jokes on his Twitter.
Yeah. I don't think they were all pedophilic. They were just inappropriate in other ways, but the
Right.
vast
I think he
majority of them had pedophilia.
I think he just carpet
It's-
bombed his tweets, so
Yeah.
that's why
Yeah.
10,000 disappeared.
Yeah.
But
But
yeah, there was
regardless,
still
there was a
lot
lot.
of pedo tweets.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he's going on about his
Like,
apologies
can I
and things he said.
enjoy a movie that's not by a fucking pedophile? Ugh.
Not in
Yeah, I
Hollywood,
know.
you can't.
Yeah.
Maybe Clint Eastwood. I've never heard anybody accuse him of that. So you can watch Eastwood movies. You're good. You get all kinds of racism and action. You're in
No,
there. It's everything you can want.
He's the second coming of Charlton Heston. Come on now.
Wait a minute. They were alive at the same time.
You know what I mean. You know what I mean. But okay, so there's an article for you. Wonderful. We covered that one. Oh, another one. Now,
Yeah.
this one, however, is a little bit more is a little more thin. James Gunn is clearly he likes those kind of jokes, and he likes that dark edgelord humor, and he does have fans around him that are being arrested for it. So, not a good look,
Six
Mr. Gunn.
kids.
Yeah.
How's that a joke?
I don't know, dude. I don't know. This one is thinner though, because basically he had met this girl when she was 15 at she's like had a fan site, and they met her at some SNL gathering thing, and he did keep in contact with her, and he brought her to a party at when she was 17, and he was kind of loving up on her. And
Yeah.
Jimmy Fallon was there, and she was sitting in the same room with him, and I guess she was drinking a beer, and somehow Jimmy didn't say, "This is a minor. Remove her from the premises immediately," as if he even would know that she's a minor.
Like that.
Well,
Well, the
I'm
only
just-
problem with that is in the 90s, when he was on SNL, they had message boards that the cast would go to on the internet. And it was a well-known secret that Mr. Fallon liked underage girls.
all right. Fair enough. I'm just saying that.
My radar is never wrong, Chester. And I smell him coming, and I know, I'm just like, there's a pedo around. Where is he?
That's fair enough, dude. But I'm talking about this particular case, this lawsuit,
Yes.
right?
I'm just
it's
saying,
kinda
don't be
ridiculous.
surprised if from this, because what happens with these lawsuits is a little thing called discovery. So if that gets to that point and Mr. Fallon has to go and be deposed, don't be surprised if they do a little digging and find a whole mess
Well,
of underage young ladies that he has engaged in coitus with.
maybe. And he is a very broken human. That is
Yeah.
true.
He should be broken.
However,
I agree.
This Horatio Sands guy, however, which
What
the
a
lawsuit
ridiculous
is
name.
against,
By the way, that's not his real name. Are we going to pretend that's his real name? Horatio Sands. That's not his real
without
made that shit
yeah, without Horatio, I guess, and
Yeah.
that's probably a British joke, hornblower joke. Anyway, here's the thing, though. Let's be legit here. He's touching up on probably having sex with a 17-year-old girl. Is
Yep.
that really a problem?
Depends how old he is, and depends where he does it legally. And considering, I believe at the time he was in his 30s, yeah, I think that's fucked up.
All right.
If somebody's in their early 20s, no, it's not a big deal. But you gotta have. I mean, there's a disparity. I think anybody, once you get past especially for a man 25, you shouldn't be going with after anybody too much younger than you unless you're super rich and she's an adult, right? She's also say you're in your 50s and she's in her late 20s. Okay, then whatever. But once you get to that point, you're officially in every way, even biologically, an adult. You fully matured for most people, anyway.
Yep.
So there's no excuse to be chasing too much younger than you, because you just don't have an out now. Now you become 100% a creep. Whereas a lot of, especially young men today, they are so underdeveloped in their early 20s because of pick a reason, right? Our society being so sick that a lot of them don't even act like adults until they're in their 30s, some of them, 25, 30. And they don't even see themselves that way.
Booster, you don't have much time left, dude. You better get on it.
Yep.
So there's a different argument there.
Half a year to get my shit together.
Yeah.
But I think largely the rule should be anything over 16. That's a woman. I mean, she can have children. Unless there's something wrong with her, she's a woman. And as long as it was 100% consensual and the age difference is less than 5 years, that's fine. I personally don't have. I wouldn't be super offended by it, even if I was a father. I would have won it. I would be like, but I wouldn't be like, oh, Reston.
I get your point.
I think that's a reasonable position to take.
No, and it is reasonable. I get your point. However, a 17-year-old girl chasing money, I don't care if he's 80. That girl knew what she was doing, and she's chasing money right now with a lawsuit, right?
The problem is, like I said, this is an open secret. He was well known, him and another one whose name is escaping me, one of the other guys in his circle, not just Sands, for purposefully bringing in girls who were minors, not just 17, all the way down to 14, to parties where they could drink and do drugs to have sex.
Yeah.
Not even it wasn't even really a rumor. People have found them actually on Twitter from these old message boards where they were just joking about it like it was funny, cast members and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, we know you like this and blah, 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 blah. Basically locker room talk, talking about men in their late 20s basically raping young women.
Yeah, no, dude. It's a lot of it. It comes up all the time. It's so constant. Yes. Eric, could you read Joe Marone's comment, please?
Hang on. Wait, Family Guy did an episode where Jimmy Fallon slept with Meg. What was Seth MacFarlane trying to tell us?
Yes, and Seth MacFarlane does a lot of that stuff. Actually.
He does.
A few times. Yeah.
Yeah, he does.
Yep. I think Seth is very much anti-pedophile. I don't think he's one of those kind of guys. Maybe he is. Could be wrong. But he doesn't give me that vibe. He's weird looking, but I think the fact that, for one, Family Guy has, the big long pedo joke with the creepy old man, that's how you do that joke. Because you're making fun of the pedophile. You're not making fun of the pedophilia. There's a difference.
Right. Yeah, that's right.
And that's how you do that joke. So he purposefully did that for years, and I'm sure he still does it on his show. I haven't watched Family Guy in years, but I'm sure he still does. And there's been other times where he's kind of hinted at, hey, this thing's been happening, blah, 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 blah. And then it comes out that that's exactly what was happening. And I'm telling you, I knew about this Jimmy Fallon stuff years ago.
Yeah.
Yes. Kevin Spacey is a great example. I knew about this Jimmy Fallon stuff years ago when one of his movies came out. Remember when he had movies? One of his movies came out, and it was all over message boards, talking about how this was long before cancel culture was really a thing. And just like with, what's his name? The guy who dressed up like Charles Barkley, who did the full-on black, full body, the other late-night host guy. What the hell's his name? The one from The Man Show.
Kimmel.
Yeah, Kimmel. He did all kinds of fucked up shit. Kinds of it.
Those two together.
Yeah.
That's why they got him by the balls now.
Exactly. That's why these people get promoted. There's a reason Adam Carolla runs a podcast, and these guys are leading these massive multi-million-dollar shows because they can be controlled.
That's true.
Simple as that.
Well, we are running out of time, so let me kind of go through this. Arnold Schwarzenegger says, "Screw your freedom." Thank you, Mr. Terminator.
What a surprise! The Nazi's son doesn't like freedom. I'm shocked.
Right? Yeah, the fucking
Yeah.
The fucking Austrian,
We
huh?
got some
Yeah.
new anime here, I guess. We talked a little bit about the Moon Knight thing. Batman. See, okay, that's good enough. All right, but anyway, we've covered a lot of interesting things today, and yeah, the creep stuff I don't know if it's interesting, but it's telling. It's a constant stream. We can't go more than a couple of weeks without some new liberal lefty being
Yep.
accused of some form of pedophilia. I mean, I really wish it would be something more along the lines of the dude got drunk at a party and grabbed the chick's tit. I mean, I wish it would be this instead, but it's not.
Yeah.
There's clearly a theme going on in Hollywood, clearly.
Yes.
And seeing as we've had many of these people over the past so many years have been trying to legitimize pedophilia. Did I just say that, Eric?
You did, and
I
I don't think
did.
you're wrong.
I
No, it's not a joke. It's not funny. It's not something to be joked about. You can
no.
make fun of pedophiles all day long. I'm with you on that. They should be shamed. Well, they should be done. A lot worse than shame should happen to them. But if we're not legally allowed to do that, they should at the very least be shamed, mocked, ridiculed, and castigated at every possible breath that is directed towards them. They should never receive praise for anything. I don't care if they cure fucking cancer. You're a pedophile. That's what you will be known as. That's what you will die as.
Yeah, but
That's how disgusting they are.
here's the thing, though. And this is in the West, of course. But I've lived in Asia decades, right? And
Yeah.
uh, every decade or so, a story will come up of some dude grabbing a girl, and horrible things ensue.
And they hang them. Yep.
And they kill him. Of course they
Yeah.
do. But it's the rarest of story. It is the
In Spain
rarest of
State.
story. How
I love
is
it.
the entire Asian world hardly has any of that going on whatsoever, but it's a constant month to month thing coming out in the West. What the fuck is going on?
Look,
I
Western
would love to have an
civilization was
answer.
a mistake. It was a
It has
great.
fallen.
Mahatma Gandhi put it very well. I think Western civilization is a great idea, and he left it at that.
That is a good one. God, he pulled off a good quib. No, I wish I had an answer for you, Chester. All I know is there's a lot of evil that seems to be congregated in the West, and there's no other word for it than evil. They're evil. They're evil people who want to do evil things to innocent people. And I don't know, but I do know that the only thing preventing there from being an actual purge is the fact that the government protects. Quite literally protects.
Seems
They
so.
do it in prisons. They do it in the streets. They protect them. And that is... It's something that literally sometimes I don't sleep well at night because I cannot fathom how evil these people are to protect somebody like that. Like you were talking about in Asia and Japan, as far as I know, they still hang them. Last I heard.
Yep.
So, yes, please. In fact, I would like to kill them slower. Can I have my way, please? I can come up with some sick shit to get rid of these fuckers, and I would not miss 1 minute of sleep. I would every night I'd go to sleep with this big old smile on my face, wake up with one, I'd dance to work. I wouldn't even need a car. I'd dance. I'd save the environment. I'd be so happy. I'd run off of the happiness at my job.
Alright. We're bringing Nazis too, but this time it's a pedo course.
That's true. That's true. Yeah.
Booster, I hate to tell you this, but that was a big part of the reason the Nazis took power.
Oh dear.
Jeff said Jimmy Seville, very good example of a protected pedophile. Yeah.
Yep.
Do that.
But anyway,
I don't like it either, Booster, but it's the truth. One of the main cruxes was the reason why Hitler was able and the Nazis were able to gain so much control culturally is because there was rampant degeneracy, pedophilia, homosexuality, doing transsexual stuff, going towards children. That was happening in Weimar, in the Weimar German Republic. And the Nazis and the German people, they didn't like it.
Yeah.
And eventually, it went bad for everybody because these people wouldn't stop.
They took it a little far.
Yeah.
They did. However, on a lighter note, tomorrow we will be doing comic book stuff. And this week, Eric, do you know what our Drone a Quarter is?
Do not.
I
Don't
don't
remember.
either. It'll be something though, and they're usually fun. I kind of like the choices we make in regard, or they make in regards to it. But definitely come check those things out, guys. We had some certainly fun conversations. I still got my fingers crossed for Moon Knight. I shouldn't. I should have my fingers cut off. But I'm doing it anyway. Don't get me on the Weimar Republic, Joe. Knock it off. You know that's an hour conversation at minimum. Anyway, so
Weimar too. I wasn't expecting that, but we're here, folks.
yeah,
We're
that's
here.
true. Anyway, all right. Closing comments, Booster. Would you like to tell the folks something pretty?
Subscribe to me. I'm gonna be putting out a lot of videos soon.
Definitely do
Saying
that,
that, but I've
guys.
yet to see videos.
So many videos, so many months worth of content
So full for you.
coming
these
daily.
videos.
And
I'm glad you're doing it,
oh,
dude. I'm glad you're doing that. I'm glad you're doing the comic book. I'm glad you're doing that shit, dude. I really am.
I've had a few sleepless nights.
Well, that's all right. It's just work.
I've been a busy boy.
Yeah, I'm glad. Eric,
Subscribe to Booster. He's got a lot of content coming soon.
he
I
does,
like it.
Yeah.
and it may
My
or may
bad.
not be related to transgenderism.
Oh no!
Unfortunately, no trannies.
Aw,
But a lot of video games and banter and comic reviews and just general shit talk.
sounds good,
And
dude.
if you want to know what any of my content's going to be like, I'm posting clips on Twitter all the time.
Nice. The little kittens.
No, clips of my editing. I every now and then I'll clip out some of the best bits.
Oh, that's neat. Yeah, there you go. You're starting to
Yeah.
get into it, man. That's nice. That's
Yeah.
nice. All right,
Yeah.
Thundero, take us out of here, man.
I have a very simple little premise in what I'm going to say today. Self-love is very important. It is impossible. Here's how I wrote it for my book. Life matters through love. If that's true, then why does loving yourself not factor in? It ought to. You're not capable of expressing something for others you do not express for yourself. Hating yourself is a low fate, a life lived dead. Love yourself, everybody. It's where it has to start.
Namaste. All right,
I
guys.
love myself twice a day. Yeah.
Yeah. Later.
Bye, love you. Mwah.